Hey folks, it's Scott Simone. Today I'm going to be replacing the transmission fluid on my 2022 R18B. Just a couple things here, tool-wise. Going to need a T25 Torx, a ratchet, a 8mm Allen, a 19mm socket, and a torque wrench. Got some crush washers in terms of some parts that are necessary to do the job. I'm going to need 2 bottles. Each bottle is 500 milliliters, and I'm going to need an additional 150 milliliters for 1.15 liters worth of gear oil that is going to make up the transmission case. Inside, I got a funnel with a hose. I'm going to use that for filling, some necessary rags, and some gloves. So first thing we're going to go ahead and do is get that T25 Torx screw out behind or from the 12-volt accessory outlet. So it's going to require just moving your gear shifter either up or down. You're going to get in there, get that out. I already loosened things up for you. This thing lifts out. I'm going to leave the electrical connection in place. I'm not going to pull that out. But if you look down in there, you can see that's the 8mm fluid fill socket. And that's what we're going to be going for. All right. This thing backed out. Remember, this was torqued at 28 Newton meters, so we're going to have to go ahead and just get that to break and go ahead and ratchet it out. I have it to a point where I think I can get this spun out by hand now. I'm just going to go ahead and just get that to come out real nice. Get a little bit of a view of that. You can see it's got a crush washer on it. And we'll go ahead and replace that. Now we're going to go for the drain plug. So the funnel I purchased has this hose, and I just wanted to make sure that the tip of the hose is not too big that it's going to impede the filling of the transmission. Just another thing to note here too, I just noticed, is that the filler plug also has a magnetic cap on it. So we're going to go ahead and clean that up and again take a closer look, just make sure there's nothing concerning going on there. All right, so just taking a closer look at this this fill plug. You know, it looks like an 8mm Allen, shaped like an Allen. I did find though that a T50 also is a good tight fit. I've seen others post videos using Torx, getting the crush washer off. That took a little bit of a wrestling match, but nonetheless that's going to be replaced. So just something to note. I'm not sure if it's an 8mm or a T50. So we're going to go ahead and go after that drain plug now. All right, so that drain plug, that's a 19mm socket. It favors the right-hand side of the bike. It's going to be just in front of the exhaust servo motor controller. And you can see it right there. That's a 19mm. So I'm going to go ahead and get that going. All right, so went ahead, this thing's drained. I'm gonna go ahead and just reinsert the drain plug with my fingers, making sure not to cross thread. I'm just gonna lightly get that started. Replace the crush ring. And this thing is going on nice and smooth. Once I go ahead and torque this, I'm gonna be able to get under there and remove the drip pan and clean up any oil that might have contaminated other cables and things like that. All right, so I got the drain plug that's in place. Go ahead, I'm going to move the drain pan. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to just get the socket on there, and I'm going to go ahead and torque that. And that's going to be 11 Newton meters. And I'm just going to hit that twice. And that's it. Okay, so I got the drain plug back in place. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start off with 150 milliliters, and then I'm going to go ahead and follow up with the two 500 milliliter bottles. Already put my hose in place. Just going to make the attachment. And I'm going to start off with 150 milliliters, making sure that I'm not leaking. So far I've installed one 500 milliliter and the 150 milliliter that I had set aside. So we're at 650 milliliters. I'm going to go ahead and finish up and pour the remaining 500 milliliters into the case. So far the funnel with the tube has been working perfectly. I haven't had any spilling or any overflow. So let me go ahead and just finish this up. Okay, so I'm going to install the fill plug by hand. I'm just using a small ratchet. It allows me to get past the bracket that holds the 12 volt accessory adapter. But I can just kind of go in there and lightly get the thread started, make sure I'm not going to cross thread anything. And okay, that's about as far as it's going to go using my fingers. Now I'm going to go ahead and install the Allen with my torque wrench, which is already set at 28 Newton meters. And there we go. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get that 12 volt accessory panel back in place. We'll start cleaning up underneath, make sure all the oil is wiped clean so that it doesn't attract dirt. And we'll get this bike back in the garage before it starts raining. Okay, now, so replacing the 12 volt accessory outlet. So you're going to see there's a little fitting piece here that fits on the top of this bracket. There is one of the clip type pieces, and that's going to fit the T25 screw. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put this on first. Basically, I'm going to drop the top in first so that it catches on that bracket. And then I'm going to drop the bottom of the accessory port onto the clip nut. Okay, I got the top in there. And all right, I can see the clip nut. I'm gonna have to just move my gear shifter a little out of the way there to get in there. All right. All right, folks, we're all buttoned up. It's starting to drizzle here a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and get the bike back into the garage, and we'll call this one a day. Thanks for watching. Next up will be the engine oil and filter. All right, so just wrapping up, changing the transmission fluid as well as the rear drive. I went ahead and put the bike up on the stand. I cleaned it really well, put it in gear, got it started right, and just let it kind of spin while it was on the stand there. I put some fresh cardboard under there, or a paper bag, just to check for any leaks, make sure everything is good. So I recovered the recycled oil, got them back into the containers. This vessel with hose, this worked really well for the transmission. The rear drive, I don't know, I think the nozzle could be a little smaller. It fits perfectly in there, which doesn't allow air to flow all that well. But all in all, you know, doing the self-maintenance on the bike, it's a great way. Definitely access therapy for me. Kind of get my kids involved. They kind of give me a hand, so it's nice to get in there and get this stuff done. All right, everyone, thanks for watching, and see you on the next engine oil change.